Hi. Well, hopefully as you're watching this sidewalk STEM video with me, Dr. B, it's cleared up a little bit. But today is Wednesday and we are in the midst of our big storm that's rolling through. Some much needed rain, but some very awesome atmospheric events going on. You can see the clouds and stuff up there rolling through. I don't know if you're able to hear on the phone, but there's been a lot of thunder as well. You may have heard the old adage that you can figure out how far a lightning strike is by the sound of the thunder. So thunder is actually the sound that's produced when lightning will discharge through the air, sometimes connecting with the ground, sometimes not. But lightning is incredibly hot as that energy is discharged in that rapid pace. So lightning can get all the way up to almost 27,000 degrees Celsius, which is incredibly, incredibly hot. So that's actually like more than 4 times hotter than the core of our molten Earth, which is estimated to be about 6,000 degrees Celsius. So lightning can produce an incredible amount of heat in an incredibly short amount of time. And air responds really strongly to that, centralized heat. If you remember the video where we sucked an egg into a glass jar at an earlier sidewalk STEM using just a match to heat up and expand the air, that lightning strike is so hot the air around it expands to get really huge, its volume increases, and then after the discharge is done, that air shrinks back down again pretty rapidly, it cools very fast, and that causes that clap as that pressure changes. Kind of like when you pop a balloon and sort of the pressure is released and the air in there can shrink up, you get that same kind of thunder sound. So if you're ever able to see a lightning strike and listen for the thunder, you can count how many seconds it takes to get there, and you can kind of figure out how far away that lightning strike was. You might be wondering what the math to that is, so we're going to do a little bit of that today on Sidewalk STEM. I've got my fairly wet cardboard that'll serve our purposes though. So the speed of sound is the speed of light is incredibly fast. It's going to be over 670 million miles per hour. So that is going to be pretty much instantaneous in our calculations and our scale of human life, especially when it comes to seeing a storm. The speed of sound is pretty slow, relatively speaking. It's still incredibly fast. So the speed of sound is going to come out to about 760 miles per hour. And that's going to depend a bit on air temperature, elevation, basically how dense the air that the sound waves are traveling through is. But we'll just go ahead and use a simple 760 mile per hour stand-in here. And the rain is really coming down, so I'm losing my cardboard quickly. We'll have to do some fast math. And so in order to figure out how many seconds it takes for sound to travel 1 mile, we can do a little bit of math, which we'll figure out. We're going to assume that given how ridiculously fast the speed of light is, the second we see some lightning, it pretty much instantaneously got to our eyes. We're going to make that assumption for our calculation. But if we know that sound typically is going to go about 760 miles per hour, we can ask how many miles, x miles, is it going to take to go 1 second? And then we can do some algebraic trickery to figure this out, some math. So for the older viewers like me, we're going to have to tap all the way back into our elementary education, but see, math is always valuable. It's important to remember this stuff. So what we can do is, well, first of all, we've got hours and seconds. We're going to need to get those into the same denominator. So 1 hour is going to be 60 seconds times, and there's 60 minutes in an hour. So that's going to give us about 3,600 seconds. And when I say about, of course I mean exact, because that's how basic multiplication works. So what we know is we can go 760 miles in 3,600 seconds when sound is traveling through air, give or take. So we want to know, well, how many miles will be traveled in 1 second? So now we can compare by doing some cross multiplication here. So we're going to have 3,600x. Oh wait, no. We don't know how long it takes to go 1 mile. So let's put 1 mile there. We'll figure out x seconds. So how many seconds does it take to go 1 mile? So you got to practice your math so you're better than Dr. B. So we're going to have 3,600 equals 760x. How many seconds? So then if we take x, we're going to divide out the 760, put that under our 3,600 there, and that's going to give us something like 4.7-ish. So it's going to take sound about 4.7 seconds to travel 1 mile. So if we see lightning and we count about 5 seconds, we know that it's about a mile away. If we count about 10 seconds before we hear the thunder, then we know it's about 2 miles away. If we went up to about 15 seconds before we heard the thunder after seeing the lightning, we would know that it's about 3 miles away. So you could do some simple kind of calculations like that. Pretty important that if you can hear the thunder at all, you're potentially in the wake of the storm. And if it's a lightning heavy storm, you do want to make sure that you're exercising caution and being safe, because as we know that lightning can be very hot. Alright, well, I've been Dr. B. I've stumbled us through some excellent sidewalk STEM. It's hard to do math in the rain, I've learned, but it was great seeing all of you. I hope to see you next week. Stay dry.